Hello children, I'm sure you have all heard of the United Nations Organization, or more briefly called the UNO, and the very important role it plays in maintaining peace in the world. It does not limit its role just to maintenance of peace. It undertakes many other activities like improving the health and nutrition of children in different parts of the world. It helps in the exchange of scientific research and knowledge. It helps member countries improve their agricultural productivity, etc. India, which at present has the second highest population in the world, and if the projections of the population growth takes place as expected, then by 2050, India will overtake China and become the most populated country in the world. India is the largest democracy in the world today. Keeping these facts in mind, we will take a look at India's role in the activities of the UNO. Mrs. Reddy, our teacher for the day, will discuss about India's role in the UNO. She will have Vijaya and Joseph, who are her student volunteers, to assist her. So let's welcome Mrs. Reddy, Vijaya and Joseph.
You have earlier studied about the UNO, its organs and its functioning. As a quick recap, I will give you a few jumbled words. I want you to put them in the right order and tell me the correct words. Vijaya, give me the answer for the first three words, and Joseph, you give me the answer for the last three. So here goes. ACEPE, YECRSUIT, NICUFE, USJCEIT, NSUOCE, IGHRST.
I remember the lesson on the UNO very well. I have got the answers. The first word is peace. The second word is security. And the third word is UNICEF.
Ma'am, I have also got all the words. I will give you the last three. The fourth word is justice. The fifth word is UNESCO. And the sixth word is rights.
Excellent work, Vijaya and Joseph. Can you tell me how these words are related to the UNO?
Peace, justice, security and rights are the objectives of the UNO.
Ma'am, UNESCO and UNICEF are the specialized agencies of the UNO.
Yes, you are both totally correct. The foremost objective of the UNO is to maintain peace and security. Let us look at the role that India plays with respect to the UNO. We will examine the beginning of India's role in the UNO. India is a charter member of the UNO. India joined the UNO on 30th October 1945. She has since then played a very important role in the effective working of the UNO. Can you tell me when the UNO formally came into effect?
Yes, ma'am. The UNO formally or officially came into effect on 24th October 1945. This day, that is 24th October, is celebrated as UN Day every year.
Ma'am, what do you mean by the term charter member?
A charter member means one of the original members when the UNO was founded. Right from the beginning, India has played a very active part in all the activities of the UNO. India has been elected to the Security Council 7 times in total. We have many Indians working in various UN agencies. In fact, Mrs. Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's sister, was the first women president of the UN General Assembly in 1953. She was the chief delegate of India to the UNO at that time. Many Indians have been commanders of the UN peacekeeping force in different parts of the world.
Ma'am, what is this peacekeeping force? Does the UNO have a military?
The UN does not have a military force of its own. Many member countries send a contingent of their army. These groups together form the UN peacekeeping force. They maintain peace and security in those parts of the world where conflicts are occurring. Today, the peacekeeping force has a wide role to play. They also keep in training law enforcement and police forces, help in assisting political processes, etc. India also has an all-women peacekeeping force as a part of the UN contingent. India has sent its force as a part of the UN peacekeeping mission to Korea, Democratic Republic of Congo, Iraq, Iran, etc. to bring peace. India has strongly opposed the policy of apartheid in South Africa. India has always supported the cause of Palestinian freedom.
Ma'am, what do you mean by apartheid?
Apartheid, which means apartness or separateness in Afrikaans. It was a system of racial discrimination that existed in South Africa from early 1900s to the early 1990s.
Ma'am, I have read that India has and is playing a very vital role in various groups of nations like the NAM, the G5, etc. Can you tell us about the NAM?
The NAM is the short form for the Non-Aligned Movement. The Non-Aligned Movement is a very important group of countries. It plays a vital role in world affairs. It came into effect after the Second World War. Let's look at the factors which led to the growth of the NAM. The Second World War occurred from 1939 to 1945. At the end of the Second World War, two major power groups were formed. One group led by the USA and the other by the former USSR, which today has become the Soviet Union. Each of these groups tried to expand and increase their power by gaining influence over other countries of the world. With more and more countries joining either of the groups, the world was slowly getting divided into two power blocks, and a situation of a Cold War developed between the superpowers USA and Soviet Union. This map clearly shows the various groups during the Cold War. They decided not to join either of the groups and decided to form a third group, which was made up of countries which were neutral. They decided not to align themselves with either of the groups, and so the NAM came into existence. The map shows the countries in dark blue as the member countries of the NAM. These are 120 countries. The countries in light blue are the observer countries. They are 17 in number.
Oh, now I understand. The two superpowers and their allied countries were like a seesaw, isn't it? At times the USA and its allies would dominate, and at other times the Soviet Union and its allies would dominate. There would be ups and downs always. So to stop this and as a counterbalance, the NAM came into existence.
That is very good observation, Vijaya. The term non-aligned was first coined by Mr. V.K. Krishna Menon, the Indian diplomat of the UN, in his speech at the UNO in 1953. Pandit Nehru was the first Prime Minister of Free India. He, along with Marshal Tito, the President of Yugoslavia, Dr. Sukarno, the President of Indonesia, Jamal Abdul Nasir, the President of Egypt, and Kwame Nkrumah, the President of Ghana, decided on forming the NAM. These eminent personalities are known as the architects of the NAM. A conference of like-minded countries was held in April 1955. They adopted a few basic principles and named it the Panchsheel.
Oh, that is easy. It must be 5 principles, so they called it Panchsheel. Panch means 5 in Hindi.
Exactly. The Panchsheel are the 5 basic principles. These are peaceful coexistence, equality and mutual benefit, non-aggression towards each other, non-interference in each other's affairs, respect for each other's freedom and territorial integrity.
These are very clear principles. All the countries who are members of the NAM will help each other but not dominate each other. They will be a group but will have their own independence. Isn't it, ma'am?
You are correct, Vijaya. The NAM had its first conference in Belgrade, Yugoslavia in September 1961. 25 countries took part in this conference. Today, this has grown to a membership of 120 countries. The NAM is a great contribution by India to the developing nations. Before the formation of the NAM, the small and poor countries had almost no voice or no say in the UNO. Through this unity in the NAM, they are today a strong voice in the UNO. The countries of the NAM also have a great role to play in world affairs. The NAM has helped in avoiding major conflict between the two superpowers. It has brought a lot of stability and progress around the world. The NAM has helped nations to strengthen their freedom and to work for their own development in an atmosphere of peace. So we see how important a role the UNO and the NAM have played and continue to play. We also see what an important part India has played and continues to play in world affairs through its role in the NAM and the UNO.
We have seen two major institutions or organizations, the NAM and the UNO, and their role in the world. The UNO continues to play a very crucial role in all spheres like peace, health, food, education, etc. But with the end of the Cold War in 1991, a question that is asked again and again is the NAM relevant and useful today? There are arguments for and against the continuation of the NAM. But it should not be forgotten that there are still many small and developing countries and they still need to hold out against Western domination politically and economically. In such a situation, the NAM continues to have relevance. You can also find out and discuss about the working and relevance of the NAM. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed getting to know more about India and her role in the UNO. Till we meet again, take very good care of yourself.